in partnership with CommSec.
Okay, let's go off to Tom Piotrowski now for a look at our Monday morning markets. How are we starting today, Tom?
Pete, will be dealing with a downbeat tone to start the new week. The futures are pointing to a decline of around 0.6%, and that reflects something of a downbeat tone as far as Northern Hemisphere markets are concerned on Friday. The introduction of a new element to the conversation from the Trump administration around tariffs, not necessarily new, but he proposed a higher rate of tariff on European imports relative to where the markets had settled on their thinking. So a universal tariff in the order of 15 to 20%. And that just had the markets balk a little bit, both in Europe and the US. You saw pretty flat outcomes for Wall Street on Friday, although the Dow Jones was down by about 1/3%. In weekly terms, the Nasdaq up 1.5%, the S&P 500 up 0.6%, and the Dow Jones was just in negative territory. So as far as earnings were concerned, we saw Netflix delivers quite good earnings at face value, but the stock was down by 5%, probably held hostage by its improvement over the course of the last 6 months, in which it's gained about 40%. So there's a bit of that going on. Banks were a little bit like that last week. They've posted some rather good earnings, but they've seen some terrific improvements over the course of the last couple of months, and investors just couldn't find it within themselves to buy at these slightly more expensive levels. So that's something of a feature of investor thinking as they navigate this medium-term landscape where the tariff conversation introduces a fair bit of uncertainty. So in local terms, as I said, the future's pointing to a decline of 0.6%. We've got quite a few updates from the resource sector this week, Pete. That's significant from the lens of Chinese demand, so important to keep that in mind. We've got a speech by Michelle Bullock later on in the week. Today there will be updates from AMP and South 32, the Aussie dollar trading just above 65 US cents.